So here is part 2 now of chapter 2. And we see here that in this table, there were many types of financial intermediaries, okay? As we discussed, we have depository institutions such as banks, savings, right? So those include commercial banks and savings and loans banks and mutual savings banks, credit unions. So all those types are banks are available. And basically, there's life insurance companies. These are considered contractual because you have to sign a contract, right? You get premiums from these policies as you put money in. And let's say pension funds and government retirement funds. So as you save in these, you basically get money back. And this is what they basically invest in: corporate bonds. Most of them are corporate bonds and stocks. Some of them do mortgages, but they vary. They'll vary over time. So let's continue here. And here's a bunch of other investment intermediaries, right? Table 3 is quite large from your book. And there's finance companies, right, that will basically sell commercial paper, which are short-term loans between different companies. And they'll sell stocks and bonds. And of course, mutual funds and money market mutual funds will sell you shares. I'll show you some of the ones I'm in as the semester goes along. And if you got millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars, you can invest in a hedge fund. Okay, so, and again, here's some more financial intermediaries, and basically the value of their assets over time from 1990 to, I guess, over the last 25 or 26 years or so, how much money they've had in their accounts, just for your information. And here's that table continued. And of course, everything should be regulated now, okay? And the big regulating place is the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they prevent and reduce insider trading, as we had with Enron. Remember, I don't know if you remember back in Enron, you may want to read up on that. And they make sure everyone has the same amount of information and there's no moral hazard internally. Okay, and these are some of the items. They basically ensure the soundness of the financial system. Okay, and they make sure everything is run. And sometimes it doesn't really happen that way, but this is what they do. Okay, and here's some of the regulatory agencies in the United States financial system. So here's the Securities and Exchange Commission, and here's the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. They basically regulate procedures for trading in futures markets, and basically Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. And they basically they regulate commercial banks and thrift institutions, and the National Credit Union Administration regulates credit unions. So this is what each section does. And here's a couple more, right? State banking and insurance and the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is kind of like on the top. All depository institutions. They make sure they check all the books of commercial banks and make sure there's nothing going on. But they kind of sit at the top of the pyramid. And, they set the reserve requirements for everybody. All right, so that's it. So I'll post this also. Alrighty, everybody take care.